What is up and welcome to Shipping Brain. This is the new Prep Center management system from 2D Workflow. This video is going to walk you through everything you need to know to get your Prep Center account up and running. So let's dive right in. We are starting on the new and improved dashboard. So this page gives you an insight into all aspects, everything that you do in your Prep Center business. Here at the top, you have the summary section, which is going to track inventory throughout the entire Prep Center lifecycle. First is the inbound widget. So this basically shows how many units this client currently has on the way to your Prep Center. One of the cool new features is that clients can actually create inbound shipments to you so that you know what's coming and what to expect. When those items arrive, you receive them into your Prep Center inventory the same way Amazon receives FBA shipments, and your clients get to see the status updates on their end as well. All right, next is the Prep Center quantity widget. Once you receive units from your clients and add them to your Prep Center inventory, they show up here. This is what you physically have on hand for this client. Then you have drafts, which is units sitting in a draft shipment, working, which is units in a working FBA shipment. And here's a cool part. We do full inventory management. When you create a working shipment, it automatically deducts those units from your Prep Center inventory. If you close or cancel that shipment, it can put those units back into your Prep Center inventory. Every single unit is tracked from beginning to end. Here you have ship to Amazon, which is units currently in transit to Amazon that you've shipped. And by the way, clients, they're going to have a similar dashboard to this on their end, which I'll show you in a little bit. And below this, you have the prep chart. So this breaks down on a daily basis how many units your team prepped. You can hover over the different bars and see which one of your employees did what SKUs were processed. And then there's the prep services widget. So this is something that tracks all of the paid services that you've done for this client with a breakdown of what they were, how much you billed, all of that good stuff. Items prepped right here shows you how many SKUs, units, boxes, and pallets were prepped over a given time frame. Ship to Amazon shows you what was shipped out. Ship to Prep Center shows you what the client sent in to you, how many SKUs, how many units you received. And then at the bottom, you have top 10 products and top 10 users by prep. So this second one is great if you have employees, because it's going to rank your team based on who's prepping the most, who's getting the most amount of units and SKUs done. And one pro tip that I can give you from my own experience, you put this list up in your warehouse for your staff to see, and it is going to instantly increase everyone's production because it kind of gamifies the whole prep process, all right? So now that you know and are familiar with the dashboard, here is what you need to do to get your Prep Center account set up, all right? There are 3 steps. Step number 1 is to go to the settings menu and add your Prep Center profile. So on the Prep Center profile page, put your name, your address, your phone number, whatever client-facing information that you want. Clients are going to see this on invoices. They're going to see this information when they're shipping products to you. So put whatever client-facing info you want. All right, step number 2 is to go to the Prep Center services page and enter all of your fees and services. And this is where you set your prices, and this is where you go to decide how you want to charge your clients. There's a lot that you can do on this page, so let me give you a walkthrough. So by default, everything starts as 0. You can see that the page is broken down into several sections, and each one of these sections represents a different way that you can charge your clients. So first, you can charge a per unit fee based on Amazon's different size tiers. So for example, you can see I got 50 cents for small standard size items, $1 for large standard size items, $1.75 for large and bulky, and $2.50 for extra large. Every time you complete an FBA shipment, the client is going to get billed per unit based on those size tiers. So to edit the different fees or to put in your different fees, just hit the edit icon, enter your fee, and then press save. All right, now on top of that, You can charge for extra services. You can charge for extra services like polybagging, bubble wrapping, set creation by attaching a fee to Amazon's different prep instructions. So for example, I've got $1 for bubble wrapping. You can see I did 25 cents for polybagging, and I also did $1.25 for set creation. Now, anytime you complete items with these prep instructions attached to them, the client is going to get charged this fee automatically as well. All right, so in addition to that, you can also look up any item and you can see the prep instructions for any SKU by going to the FBA inventory page and clicking this details button. All right, so this basically shows you the size tier and all of the prep instructions Amazon assigned to this specific product. And here's where it gets really cool. You can also attach your own custom fee to any SKU that you want, right? So taking this item, for example, let's say Amazon says that this item needs bubble wrapping and labeling, all right? But let's say it's also a bundle and you wanna charge for that bundling or for that set creation service. So from this list, just select set creation from the list, click add, click save, and now this specific service is going to be attached to this specific SKU going forward, all right? And then if none of the existing services from this list, if none of this fits what you need, you can create your own. So to create your own custom service, click add a new prep service here at the top, name this whatever you want, set a price, press save, and now it's going to show up right over here in the custom prep fees section. And then you can go and you can attach any one of these custom prep fees. You can attach it to any single SKU, all right? Another way to charge is down here. You have your per box fees. So set a price here, and when you finish a shipment, this client is going to get billed basically for every box in that shipment. Same thing for per pallet fees and per shipment fees. Same concept, just different ways to charge. You can charge for the number of pallets you do, you can charge for the number of shipments you do, and all of that kind of stuff. When you are creating the custom services that I mentioned, you can also choose the category that you want to charge that custom service with. For example, you can make a custom service per unit, a custom fee per box, a custom fee per pallet, a custom fee per shipment. So you can make custom fees and then basically control how you are counting those fees, all right? One last thing on this page. If this menu at the top says all clients, you are setting universal fees that apply to everyone, to all of your clients. So I'd recommend setting your defaults here first, but if you want different pricing for a specific client, just select the client from this drop-down list. And when you have the client selected, the changes that you make while a specific client is selected, this is only going to apply to that specific client account, all right? When you switch it back to all clients, now you're making changes for everyone. So this makes it possible to have universal fees and then charge different fees or give different custom discounts or custom services client by client, all right? So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is to update your inventory levels, to add the inventory levels in your prep center into the software. So to do that, go to the FBA inventory page. On the page, you can see we added some new columns. Prep center quantity, this is for units available at your prep center. Inbound, this is for units that the client has on the way to you in an inbound shipment. Unsellable, this is for damaged or expired units. And then drafts and working and shipped are for units that are in those stages of the life cycle, all right? So you need to add your prep center quantity so that it matches what you physically have in your prep center. And to do that, you can click into each cell in this column and update it SKU by SKU. Or if you have a lot of SKUs, you can hit the update inventory levels button and do it in bulk with a file upload. So over here, you can download a template. I'll show you what that looks like. Here you could enter your SKUs and quantities and upload this file, and that's it, you are done. All right, now, There is one really important tip that I want to give you. When you are entering your prep center quantity, your prep center inventory, only count units that are not in working FBA shipments, because units in working shipments, they are tracked separately and automatically. So for example, if you have, let's say, 150 units of a SKU, but 50 of those units are already in a working shipment, then only enter 100 into this column, not 150, all right? Only count what's not already in a working shipment. So those are your 3 simple setup steps. Enter your prep center profile, enter your prices and services, and enter your inventory levels, and the rest is good to go. We handle everything else automatically, all right? But I do want to keep going and keep showing you a few more things that you should know. So again, the reason why I said not to count units that are in a working shipment is because the software handles that for you. When you create a shipment for a client, it is going to subtract from the prep center inventory, and it is going to add those units to the working column. If you complete those shipments, those units move to the ship column. If you cancel those units go back to your inventory. Another thing I want to show you is for unsellable units. Let's say you have, in this example, let's say you have 150 units of an item, and let's say 5 of those units just expired or broken or got damaged or whatever. So you click on the unsellable cell, enter the quantity, add a reason like this item is expired, and then just adjust your PC quantity down to match. All right, and your client is going to be able to see this from their portal also with a full breakdown and why. All right, and then when you click the details buttons on any single SKU, you will see all the fees and services again that are attached to it, plus the total prep cost. This is just like a quick way to check what any item costs to prep with all these services that you may have attached to it, all right? Now, I wanna show you next the inbound prep center shipments page, because this is a very big feature. So here, this is where you can see and receive shipments that are sent to you by clients. Clients send you shipments, you receive them, you inbound them, you reconcile them, and you add them to your inventory, all right? So here you can see the shipment status, how many SKUs and how many units are coming in. You can see tracking info, and then when you start receiving it, you can see your receiving progress over here, all right? So I want to very quickly show you what this looks like from the client's page so that you can understand the process. So from their portal, clients can select items and quantities from their inventory, and then they can press ship to prep center to make a prep center shipment an inbound shipment to you. They create a draft. They can add a little note to you if they want, something like, I'm sending this unit, be careful, these are glass jars. And then they mark it as shipped. They can add a carrier, they can add tracking info. Another very big helpful tip is they can use 2D Workflow's discounted shipping program to make inbound shipments shipped to you and get really good pricing discounts on that as well. And then when this client creates this shipment to you, back on your end, back in the Prep Center portal, that's when this shipment shows up. All right, so what you wanna do when this inbound shipment gets delivered to your prep center, the first thing you want to do is mark it as delivered. All right, this changes the status. The client sees that it went from shipped to arrived, delivered. The client knows that it arrived, and then you can start receiving the items. So basically, go through each SKU, count them, and just enter the received quantity. If you are tracking warehouse locations, or if you're putting items into warehouse locations, you can add a location for each item. Another way to do it is if all units check out, you can just tick this checkbox over here to mark that you've received all of these units at once. If there is a discrepancy, let's say on this item, the client says they shipped 100 units, but you only got 98. Here you can enter that you received 98 units and note that 2 units are missing. And then if some inventory, for example, arrived damaged, you can receive the good ones, and then you can add those damaged or expired units into the client's unsellable inventory column by pressing this button right here, making a note, and that adds these units into the unsellable column, all right? So when you are done receiving everything, checking everything, you hit the mark as received button, and all the units that you just entered that you physically received, all these units get transferred from this inbound shipment and imported into your prep center inventory. Another helpful thing is you and your client can also exchange notes on each shipment. You remember they write special instructions, and you can reply to those notes in the prep center notes section, which is just another way to communicate back and forth with your client about a particular shipment, all right? The next thing I want to show you is the invoicing page. So here you can pick any time frame, monthly, weekly, daily, whatever you want, and you will get a full shipment and prep summary for that period. Total shipments processed, SKUs prepped, which SKUs, units, boxes, pallets, total charges, a line by line breakdown of every shipment, what was in it, what services were provided, and what each one of those services cost. You give your client full visibility, all right? Then when you're ready to bill them, you press the generate invoice button, all right? And what this is gonna do, this is going to create a PDF with your info, your client's info. You're gonna see a summary section, and you're gonna get a detailed breakdown of every FBA shipment, item by item, service by service for your client to see. And again, just generate it, send it to your client. They now have a line by line item bill from you, all right? Next thing I want to show you is the issues page. So this is where you can flag problems for your clients, all right? So for example, if you have damaged items, all the unsellable items that we marked, they automatically show up here. You can add notes like this bottle was leaking. You can add notes like we have these expired units. What should we do with this? And the client, they can respond from their portal, and they see all of these issues, and then they could write to you, please dispose these 3 units, please throw this out, please discard this, please ship this back to me, and you see those notes, and then you can take action and do what you want to do, all right? Now, I do want to take a few minutes and give you a tour and kind of show you how things look like for your clients on the new system. So when you onboard a new client, we automatically send them an invitation and set them up with an account to the new client portal. So you no longer have to make sub-user accounts for your client. When you invite them, they connect their Amazon store, they get a client portal account set up, and they are in automatically, all right? So this is the client dashboard. Their dashboard is very similar to yours. They see inbound units. They see prep center inventory. They see working shipments. They see ship to Amazon. They see a daily prep chart, and they see all of the widgets for prep services, for items prepped, for units that you shipped. They also see the top 10 products and an inventory overview showing a quick glance which items they have the most of at your facility, all right? Now, if you go to the client's inventory page, here they can see what they have at your prep center. They have the columns for prep center inventory, prep center draft, prep center shipped. Prep center shipped is what you see on your end as inbound. These are units that they've shipped to the prep center. Again, prep center quantity, unsellable, drafts, working, shipped. They see everything, all right? So from this page, again, clients can make shipments to you. They can also create drafts and working FBA shipments and then let you know, this is what I want you to prep for me. This is what I want you to pack and send to Amazon for me. And again, they also have access to 2D workflows custom shipping portal for those discounted LTL and FTL rates. It's a big benefit for you to be able to offer your clients pre-negotiated discounted shipping with those same carriers that Amazon has, that we negotiated on your behalf. So not only can you shop around and ship your client's inventory to Amazon for cheaper by comparing Amazon pricing to 2D workflow pricing and always shipping with the cheapest method, but now when your clients are shipping inventory to you, or when your clients are getting inventory shipped, if they have to move it from their supplier to you or from their supplier to them, they now have the option of doing this with discounted LTL and FTL rates. All right. And that is pretty much it. So just to recap, to onboard, your 3 setup steps are: enter your profile, enter your prices and services, and update your prep center inventory levels. All right. And remember, only count the units that are not in working shipments. Okay. Lastly, the app is still in beta. We have dozens of additional features dropping over the next few weeks. I'll share more on those as they go live. And if you have any questions, feedback, if you have any ideas for what we should add, please reach out to me directly. We built this specifically for prep center owner operators, so we want to hear from you. Again, thanks for watching and welcome aboard.